while we're talking about your training and stuff, and you were talking about being able to move. I've got this video clip that I want to play. It's with you, and I believe her name was Kathy. I keep forgetting her name. You told me like 3 times. Kathy?
Sweet lady. Sweet
okay.
lady.
And the reason I want to play this, because the first part of it, it's you doing it. And I wanted to show this just for contrast, as far as, because you've been doing this for a long time. You've got the training. You are, aces at this. And then Kathy, when she does it, and this is nothing against her, she is the typical person. I mean, she probably is doing this the same way I probably would the first time. And this was her very first time doing this. But like, this is what I envision a lot of my audience too, probably the same way. Now, got a lot of military guys that, in the prepper universe, and, a lot of different backgrounds and stuff. So it's not everyone, but I have a feeling there are a lot of people that are in that same position. So I wanted to play this a little bit. But I will play this. This starts off with you basically showing everyone how it's done. So
on the shot clock, you're going to draw, fire 2, go to kneeling, safely controlling the gun, fire 2, go to seated, safely controlling the gun, fire 2, then back on your back, safely controlling the gun, firing 2, then you're going to stand back up, safely controlling the gun however you need to, and then firing 2. And we're going to check the points based on the B8 and also the time. It's not really trying to do this quickly, it's just finding out where's your body at and where are your skills at, because if you understand fighting with a gun, oftentimes you do go to the ground or in unconventional positions. So I'm going to give it a try. Ninja over here is going to give it a try, and we're just going to see where we're at with this. And it's one I think is a worthwhile one to do, and I challenge you to go try this one too. Ready? Oh, damn.
All right, so I think you did that. I think that one was like 12 seconds, and you did another one was like 10 seconds. Give a little backstory on what this drill is before I go into Kathy doing it, which I think is more realistic for the average person like me out there.
Well, and then you pick the worst of the two. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Shank too there. Okay, so give me your question again, so I've got it.
Get a little bit of backstory on why you decided, and this was a brand new drill I think you did when you first did this, and why this is, these different positions is helpful. You also did a video on Warrior Life that talks about the same thing in, different fighting positions, but you go into a lot more detail. By the way, before you answer that, I've got all these links that I'm talking about in the show notes below. The Defenders USA website and YouTube channel, all these links I'm talking about are in the description below. So sorry, go ahead. I just had to let everyone know.
So here's the basis behind this. One, it came to me in the middle of the night, probably about a week before this, and I just thought this is something needed to be done. And here's the foundation of why. As a police officer, I got myself into something where I had to use a gun in defense of life. Had to be very precise because I didn't want to shoot my partner, right? But I had to shoot what was attacking him. So at the time, I was fighting with somebody else on the ground, and I had to roll from my wherever I was to my back, drawing the gun to shoot. I had to roll up to kneeling to shoot, and I had to go to standing to shoot in the defense of life. And I found so often that the static range training that I've been through, and I've been through a lot of training, we rarely, if ever, do anything but standard static range stuff, or maybe you'll move a bit. So to me, this was just a realistic type of thing that people need to know how to do. And really, you got to fight with the body God's given you, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you are the broken old soldier, the broken old warrior, or maybe you're the guy or the girl who's got back issues, neck issues, mechanical leg, whatever, right? You're in a wheelchair. You've got to fight with what you've got. And so therefore, as long as you can control a gun safely and well, learn what your body can do. And everything, I think, when it comes to shooting guns is a balance of speed and accuracy. So you got to know what your body can do. But you've also got to have the balance of both speed and accuracy, because there is a timer in a gunfight. We don't know what that is. Mr. Bad Guy gets to choose that, right? Those attacking us. So the more quickly and the more efficiently we can do that, the better. But you also need to know what the efficiency of your body is and find those positions you can get into quickly if you need to, whether you've got to stand back up or go back down. Sometimes we don't know what's the fastest way for me to do that, and then practice that. Because just like anything else, if you myelinate it, or people oftentimes misnomingly and poorly call it muscle memory, if you develop myelination or muscle memory of that, you can now do it a lot easier subconsciously versus having to think it through. And the last thing you want to do is learn to do this stuff in the moment, right? Learn how to do it now. Know what you're efficient with and capable of, and work on those things so that's your body flow up and down, but also your shooting skills. And if they're like, you see the two bullet holes like me that decide to miss, if you're a bad shot like me, go learn to be a better shooter.
Yeah, there was a better one. Like I said, go watch the whole video. He goes into more depth, but yeah, there was a better one. Was that 10 yards?
No. Well, so I like this at 10 yards, but because this was a new drill for Kathy, I put this one at 7.
Okay. Now, when I play her, like you were just talking about, this is less about her, or it's not about her time at all. It's like you were just talking about. It's getting used to seeing what you're going to be able to do. Somebody at your level, there's a little bit of competition to it, right?
Oh, yeah.
But for her, I just wanted to play this because this is kind of what probably a lot of us would probably expect. With me, I guarantee you that getting up after laying down, because I haven't practiced that and done that, would probably be pretty similar to this. But I'll finish playing this video.
No rush. Don't worry about the clock. The clock's an indicator. You take care of you. You be safe with you, okay? All right, nice and easy. All right, let's move you up just slightly. All right, there we go. All right, let's shoot at the 2. Are you good with that?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Stand by. Finger off, there we go. Clear it, finger off. Finger off, safely, safely. Good, good. And cease fire. Go ahead and safely, reluctantly holster.
All right, so if I ever do one of your classes, I'm going to make sure and practice that before I even go, because but it especially the laying down one, because like you were talking about, you never know. You could be running, you could be tripping over something, falling, and have to shoot from that from a prone position. So all of those, I think it teaches you a lot more than just pointing at a target and just going for it. So all of these things, that's why I think classes like this are so important.
And I would agree with you, right? The next progression of this is you being in these positions already before you draw the gun, right? Because it could be that you get yourself attacked, don't even know it's happening. You get shoved down, knocked down, tripped, something like that. And now you're fighting under pain, shock, and surprise while you're already down on the ground. And so now safely drawing that gun from there and then working yourself back up while you maybe engage wherever you do so, that's just as important a skill as starting at the top with it. So that would be the beginning of it. And then I think that if you see some of the other videos, you just keep ramping it up and ramping it up, as long as people can do this thoughtfully and safely.
Yeah, yeah. I think this is Laura, Defenders Live. I know it's not you. So,
Yep.
Is it true that a few rangers will allow you to shoot from those positions? Also, should you try this first with a dry gun?
Yeah. So this is a really good point.
Oh, and that was the beginning of the video. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really good point, right? The vast majority of ranges out there are not going to let you go out and just do this, right? In fact, a lot of ranges don't even let you draw a gun. So if you're going to go to an official range, you got to check with them first. And if it's a range that doesn't allow it, then I'd strongly suggest going to them if they know you, they know your training, they know you're safe, saying, hey, can you make an exception for me? What are they going to do? Say no? Send you back to Iraq? If they say no, they say no. Okay. So in the meantime, If you can't do it, or let's say you can, I would strongly suggest you do it with a dry gun. Don't do it with a live gun. Do it with a dry gun. I mean, go get a water pistol, steal it from your kids, a little squirt gun or something, work with that. And this is something you can do at home, right? You can do this at home with a dry gun, meaning there's no rounds in there, but finding a safe place, you could work through these with a dry weapon. And I'd strongly suggest that's a good way to start with this until you know you can keep your finger off the trigger in transitions. Because a lot of people keep their fingers on the trigger when they go to move. They put a hand down, they push up. That sympathetic reflex of squeezing the hand could crank off a round and do bad things. So therefore, learn to be able to do this, learn to manipulate it on a dry gun or a fake gun. Only then take it to some place where you can do live fire. And if you can't do it at your range, for those of us who live out in the West, BLM, right? Go out to some desert, some mountain, something. But I'd strongly suggest you take medical supplies that, hey, if you're a prepper community, you should have in the first place.
Yep.
Right? Maybe go somebody else who can apply that to you if you decide to mess it all up or somebody else does. So go do it safely, but have the medical there so that you can take care of things if things do, God forbid, happen. But now work through it to where you're thoughtful with it, to where you can get faster and faster and be basically unconsciously competent at it.